Yeah, for this video, I want to focus on a topic that I feel is really what's going to uplift the black community. Because nowadays, everybody's talking about doing this, or we need to focus on job discrimination and all those sorts of things. But, you know, the world is the way it is. But one thing I have to say for certain is, honestly, in this world, one thing that's a lesson is it's kind of best to try to focus on things where you know you're going to be most likely successful instead of focusing on things, you know, because just to sum it up, it's best to focus on on doing things yourself than focusing on having someone else do it for you. That's a lesson that I'm sure everybody has learned at some point in their lives. And I feel this can even apply to a community of people. They're more likely to do things that applies to them. So this is what I think about this issue. Because to be honest with you, that's the truth about white people. Is that why do black people focus too much on so much on white people? Because to be honest with you, white people, because in this point in history, the days of the Ku Klux Klan and all those sorts of people, those days are over. Okay, you know, and just in general, man, white people, what are they really doing bad to the black community? You know, what they're doing bad for the bad white people out there, and these, you know, which there's no denying it, is they try to use our black leaders, you know, just to, and just set them up with garbage. Honestly, that's the truth about it. Why do we focus so much on white people? White people this, white people that, you know. we want to work in the same job places as white people and all that sort of stuff, when we could just simply run our own businesses. Like, let me explain something here for a second. You know, that's the truth about white, you know, about it, man, is that white people, to be honest with you, they're just, you know, but also, you know, on another note, you know, what does that have to do with us? What's going on with them have to do with us, you know, in our community? Because we're focusing on our own issues. You see any white people nowadays going around shooting up the place, like, you know, shooting up the place and all that sort of stuff. I know you have a lot of cops and stuff, but honestly, the real issue I feel is black people need to have put more effort into controlling our community, and I'll elaborate on that further in another video. But back to the issue about black people running their own businesses. Here are some advice for black people running their own businesses. For one thing I feel you should take advantage of is that for a lot of black people out there, you know, they have, you know, black people have a lot of computers, you know, like, it's just like people in the ghetto. From what I know, you know, they from what I've heard, they even have better computers than we do. I'm not too sure if this is actually true or not, but they do have but of course, like everybody nowadays, they do have good quality computers. Besides, have you been on World Star Hip Hop? You see somebody in some of the worst ghettos ever, you know, like people wearing like khaki, you know, like khakis and checkered shirts and wearing like caps on their head, you know, like it looks like something straight out of like a 90s movie, and they're wearing that in the 21st century, you know. You know, to be honest with you, they're still doing that, you know, and you see them recording stuff with phones. Besides, phones nowadays are cheap. Besides, you get, in America, from what I remember, you could actually get them for free. So why don't you take advantage of that and use something as simple as using a phone? Like, once you use a phone and you record yourself, you're more likely to be able to get yourself out there in a broader way. Because from what you remember, how hard is it to get like 10 people in a room, whether friends or whatever, to just sit down and listen to your idea? How easy is it to get 10 people online? You know, and online, to be honest with you, man, as long as long as you have the patience, I believe you can actually do it. Because honestly, man, online, you have to realize you can post as many videos, whether you're bored or not. Just post videos constantly, and you have to realize something about doing something on YouTube if you're trying to promote yourself, is that just like anything, it takes months for you to catch on. Some people expect their video to go viral in like a day or a week. It doesn't happen like that in the in the real world. It takes time, it takes persistence. It's just like anything, just like running a real business. Like people running businesses, apparently from what I've heard, it takes months for somebody to even get one customer, or at least one serious customer. Another tip of advice: focus on something you enjoy doing, because a lot of you guys live in very bad communities, living in the ghetto, or just in general, a lot of people just don't like going to school. Some people might have really bad bullies or whatnot, or just a school that's just racist. The black people live in the country, they're the most ignored demographic. Some of them don't want to go to school, so they're actually scared for their life. So honestly, if you're at home all the time, for whatever reason, you have a legitimate issue, and you could just do this on your own free time as well, is try to find a hobby. Like, what do you like to do naturally? Okay, do you like to naturally, draw? Do you like to naturally, make sculptures? Do you naturally like to cook? Do you naturally like to write stories about things? Whatever you're interested in. And some of these things I've mentioned, I'll give you a few tips on how to do it. Because honestly, man, that's the truth about it. If you enjoy doing what you're doing, you're more likely to be better at doing it, because it's something you can do repeatedly over and over again and not get tired of it. It's something you wake up in the morning and you actually feel passionate about it. The more you think about it, the more ideas that come to your head, and the more ideas that come to your head, the the better the better it'll help you to come up with solving what you want to do in the end. So that's what I feel you should do. Besides, man, honestly, man, a lot of these ideas, people might say, oh, you need this and that. Honestly, with the age of the internet and all these sorts of things, you could just practice learning how to draw on the internet with like an e-pencil or something, whatever they call it, and just practice over and over again. If you want to learn how to cook, these are just some ideas I'm just putting out there before I make videos about it, about how to do it, or you could just maybe just pretend to mix up flour and just use the same flour over and over again, and just maybe, for example, just put food coloring and mix it up over and over again to get the hang of it. So the thing is that it's renewable. It's something you could do many times, and at the same time, it's something you just have fun doing, and you could experiment with other things to add to it. So in general, man, not only are you having extreme fun for your most natural talent, it's something that that you could do, and also, maybe you can meet up with other people who might have these sorts of issues, to be honest with you. Maybe, for example, if you're running a business where you're making clay, maybe the person who's the author could help you with English, and spreading pamphlets and summarizing things. You never know these sorts of things. So I believe all of these ideas would help uplift the black community, because, as I said before, not only would it help people probably with different educational backgrounds for their main passion to come together, but it also provide people, with something to do, something to do, and as the community of people focus more and more on what they like to do, I hate throwing up these three Masonic fuck Freemasons, but yeah, the more and more people focus on doing what they want to do, because you cannot tell me if you do something that you naturally like to do and naturally you have a passion for doing, that you cannot do it effectively. The more and more you do those sorts of things, the more and more it's going to build up the the community, because they're going to do what they'd like to do. They're going to have people who say, I know this is the best person for the job. The more money they make, and if it's a whole community of people who do that sort of thing over and over again, then just in general, it's more likely things are just going to start to get better for everybody. So in general, the community would be more prosperous. Does this sound silly to you? I don't think so. And that's my video, and that's all I have to say. Like and subscribe later.